Being patient with us and allowing us to start this meeting a little bit late. Welcome to our City Council meeting. As you are aware, we are holding our meetings remotely to help reduce the transmission of COVID-19 due to the rate of COVID-19 cases in the city and elsewhere. This is a precautionary measure for the safety of the public and city employees and is based on the latest reports from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. We are continuing to monitor the situation in advance of each meeting, and the council will return with hybrid meetings when appropriate. We are truly grateful for the public's patience, but most importantly, we are glad you are joining us today. We will begin with a moment of silence as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. When we are done, we will turn our audio back on. Welcome to everyone who is joining us tonight. You may have noticed on our agenda that we have our typical formal meeting agenda. And beforehand, we also have a quick local building authority agenda. As the city's officials, council members not only serve on the city council, we also serve as the local building authority board. Think of it as the council wearing different hats for each of the roles. If you are joining us for public comment items or opportunities we have later on in the agenda, we are accepting your comments through WebEx, and for those whose only option is to call in, staff will be monitoring a separate telephone line. Before we begin our LBA agenda items, I want to mention and review our rules of decorum. These are guidelines that the City Council has always had in place to help our meetings progress in an orderly, civil, efficient way. And these rules also apply as we wear our LBA hats. These rules of decorum help us move through the agenda and give everyone the opportunity to voice their opinions without feeling intimidated. In order to achieve this, our rules of decorum begin from the moment you arrive in our virtual meeting. We respect all points of view and we welcome new insights. While giving your comments, please be respectful, avoid yelling, profanity, or making racial slurs, obscene, or defamatory remarks. If you use profanity during your comment, your line will be muted. And if any comments reach a level of disrespect, I will ask that you be muted and you will forfeit your opportunity to address the council tonight. If you feel the need to use profanity to express your point, you're welcome to email council members or call our comment line. In addition, our staff will request your name during the registration process. To limit disruption, your name cannot include a message or violate our rules of decorum. If your registered name does not meet this requirement, then our staff will use the chat feature to gather that information from you. Is Isaac here? Isaac Canedo from our staff is helping to moderate the meeting and will be messaging with the attendees to coordinate on any questions with your commenting registration. Staff is handling a number of tasks. Please limit messages to technical issues and minimal changes to your registration. If you would like to send any comment, please feel free to mail us at P.O. Box 145476, Salt Lake City, Utah 84114. Email us at council.comments@slcgov.com or call us at 801-535-7654. We will now be moving to item A4, regarding the approval of local building authority meeting minutes of Tuesday, May 5th, 2020, Tuesday, June 2nd, 2020, and Tuesday, June 9th, 2020. I will look for a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Wharton, a second by Councilmember Dugan. Roll call, Councilmember Valdemoros.
Yes.
Councilmember Wharton.
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan.
Yes.
Councilmember Mono,
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris,
Yes.
and I am a yes. That passes unanimously. This brings us to our local building authority item B1 under consent to set the public hearing date of November 16th for the local building authority budget amendment number 1. I will look for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Wharton, a second by Councilmember Dugan. Roll call. Councilmember Ferris,
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan,
Yes.
Councilmember Wharton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros,
Yes.
Councilmember Mono,
Yes.
and I am a yes. That passes. This concludes our local building authority agenda. I will ask for a motion to adjourn as the local building authority board and convene as the city council.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Wharton, a second by Councilmember Ferris. Roll call. Councilmember Dugan,
Yes.
Councilmember Wharton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros,
Yes.
Councilmember Mono,
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. That passes unanimously. We are now we are now convening as the city council, and we are at item D1, where the council will consider adopting a joint ceremonial resolution with Mayor Mendenhall condemning hate crimes committed against Asian American and Pacific Islanders. I would like to turn the time over to Council Member Darren Mono, who will read the resolution. Councilmember Mono?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sorry, I'm just scrolling. Okay, joint resolution condemning hate crimes committed against Asian American and Pacific Islanders. Whereas, following the spread of COVID-19 in 2020, there has been a dramatic increase in hate crimes and violence against Asian American and Pacific Islanders, and whereas between March 19th, 2020 and December 31st, 2020, 2,808 first-hand accounts of anti-Asian and Pacific Islander hate crimes occurred throughout the United States, and whereas during this time frame, race has been cited as the primary motivation in 90% of reported incidents, and whereas Asian American and Pacific Islander owned businesses have been the top targets within this period, comprising roughly 38% of discrimination incidents. And whereas during this time, Asian American and Pacific Islander youth under 20 years old make up roughly 14% of hate crimes. And whereas also during these 9 months, Asian American and Pacific Islanders over 60 years old make up about 7.5% of hate crime victims. Now therefore be it resolved that the Salt Lake City Council and Mayor stand united in condemning and denouncing any and all anti-Asian and Pacific Islander sentiments in any form, including all manifestations of expressions of racism and anti-Asian and Pacific Islander or ethnic intolerance. Be it further resolved that Salt Lake City Council and Mayor call on local, state, and federal law enforcement officials to investigate all reports of anti-Asian American and Pacific Islander hate crimes and threats and to work to improve the reporting of these crimes to hold the perpetrators accountable and bring the perpetrators to justice. Thank you, and I'll turn the time back over to the Council Chair Fowler.
Thank you, Councilmember Mono. I would like to recognize we have joining with us Koe Larson, a student who requested the resolution. Koe, I would like to welcome you and give you an opportunity to speak to this resolution.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon, council members. I would quickly like to thank you all for your time, particularly Councilman Mano for assisting me in getting this resolution passed. This originally began as a school project to get a resolution passed by a city council, but throughout working on this, it has become so much more, and I could not be more appreciative of your time and effort. As an Asian American, I have experienced vastly different instances of discrimination, both in elementary school, high school, and mere months ago. Working on this resolution, I believe that this will create a significant change in the perception towards Asian Americans, particularly in Salt Lake City, but across Utah as well. I believe the capital city making a statement about standing with Asian Americans in these troubling times will be a significant gesture to the community, particularly since this is the capital. So thank you again for your consideration. And again, Councilman Mano couldn't have done this without you.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for taking the initiative for something that is so important. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I think we still need to adopt the resolution.
We do, thank you. That was my
Sorry.
next.
Oh,
my
sorry.
next thing, I think, or not, and you reminded me, so thank you. I would look for a motion to adopt this resolution.
Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the resolution.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Mano, a second by Councilmember Warden. Roll calling this. Councilmember Dugan,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros,
Yes.
Councilmember Wharton,
Yes.
Councilmember Mano,
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris,
Absolutely.
and I'm a yes, and that passes unanimously. Thank you again. We are now moving on to item D3, which is an introduction of our youth city government students. As many of you know, we generally have a state of the youth city, a state of the city by our youth city government students towards the end of, when do we usually have it? Towards the end of their school year, but it generally is the only time that we get to interact and meet with our youth city student government students. And so in an effort to try to build a better relationship with these youth that are taking such an interest in local government, and they always amaze me. Like, I was never as smart or involved as these students are. We wanted to bring them in at the beginning of their time so that we can really start to foster a relationship and with these students that are doing such great work. So I believe that Angela Romero and Samantha Tiburcio Escalante are here with us, and we would welcome the 7 youth city government students entering the program. I'd love to turn the time over to either Angela, if she's here, or Samantha, to say a few words, and then have your students introduce themselves. I'm going to wait till somebody tells.
Everyone, this is Samantha Escalante. My video is not working. I will be here instead of Angela. She's currently at the session right now. They just went into special session.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm staff assistant, so I will be her person if y'all have any questions about the program. We have a couple of students here with us since it's a school night. There only a few of them could join us. So if I could, I will call the students, and if they can just say their name, what district they live in, and also their school. I will start with.
Samantha, can I interrupt? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to interrupt just a little bit. Do you mind just giving a brief overview of the program so that our public that's watching can get as excited about it as we all are, because we've met so many of these students? Maybe a brief overview, and then when the students are called on, if they don't mind turning on the camera, I'd love to get to put a face to a name and a voice.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So Youth City Government is pretty much all the students in Salt Lake City who are interested in the politics process of their communities. And this year, we really wanted to have the demographic representation of each district, since we know each district has their certain kind of issues that they're interested in. So we wanted for them to be involved as much as we can with their city council, and hopefully we can just train them to be better leaders in our communities. As much as we love to be interested in national issues, we know that a lot of the issues come from grassroots, so their communities. Hopefully that I was expecting for Angela to do this for me, so I'm sorry that was ill prepared.
That was perfect.
Thank you. Would you like me to call the students individually, or would you like them to do it by themselves?
I think it makes more sense if you don't mind calling. That way we don't get too many people trying to talk at once.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Kate Love, if you could please turn on your camera and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Kate Love. I live in District 5 and I'm a junior at East High School.
Okay, Daffodil, if you could please turn on your camera and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Daffodil Bugert and I am a senior at East High School and I live in District 4.
Okay. Next, Dia, could you please turn on the camera and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Dia. I'm in District 4 and I go to West High School.
Okay, Lydia, could you please do the same?
Hi, I'm Lydia. I go to West High School. I'm a junior and I live in District 3.
And lastly, but not least, Sophie, if you're able to turn on your camera and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I live in District 6 and I'm a senior at Roland Hall.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very excited to see the work that you guys do over the year, and hopefully we can continue to foster this relationship throughout the year. I'm definitely speaking just for myself, but I feel like I could speak for most of my council members, if not all of them. Please feel free to reach out to us at any time. I do so much appreciate having relationships with our youth that are involved in politics and want to be involved in this. So any way we can help, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you for joining us tonight. With that, we will begin our public hearings. Taylor Hill on our staff will be calling the names of those who wish to comment and unmuting lines. Once we open public comment, Taylor will announce 3 names at a time so that people can have some notice and be prepared to speak. When it is your turn to speak, Taylor will say your name, unmute your line, and you may begin. Please state your name and the 2-minute timer will start. At the 2-minute mark, the host will announce time and your microphone will be muted. If you are unable to finish your comment, please refer to your chat screen. Our staff will post our contact information. If you do not wish to speak, please message our staff to let them know, or when the host states your name, please just let us know that you're here to listen. Our first public hearing item, E1, is regarding an ordinance that would amend the zoning map pertaining to a portion of property at 1780 East South Campus Drive from institutional district to RMU, a residential mixed use district. Before we begin taking comments, I will turn the time over to Council Staff Policy Analyst Brian Fulmer to give a short introduction. Brian?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you mentioned, this is a proposal to amend the zoning map for the property at the address you mentioned in order to accommodate a planned student housing development. This is a portion of a larger parcel owned by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who will retain ownership of the property and enter a long-term lease agreement with the developer for the project. That is my introduction.
Thank you, Brian. Taylor, I'll turn the time over to you and any public comments we might have.
Thank you, Council Chair. It looks like we have 3 people here to speak to this item, and the first of which will be Lori McDonald, followed by Scott Bates, and then Heidi Woodbury. Lori, you're now unmuted.
Thank you so much. My name is Lori McDonald. I'm the Vice President for Student Affairs at the University of Utah, and I'm just speaking in support of this project. As many know, we need more student housing and support any efforts to provide quality, affordable options near campus. Thank you.
And now we will hear from Scott Bates, followed by Heidi Woodbury. Scott, you're now unmuted.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm here on behalf of the Ivy Foundation, who is the developer of this project. And we're very excited about meeting the student need as far as housing, but also want to emphasize that this project, the profits from this project collected from rents will fund scholarships for students. And so the Ivy Foundation is benefiting all net profits to a special scholarship fund at the University of Utah to provide scholarships for students most in need. And that's that, along with meeting a housing need, that's what we're most excited about with this project. Thank you.
And now we will hear from Heidi Woodbury. Heidi, you're now unmuted.
Thank you. Good evening. And I would just like to echo what you've already heard, that this project is really important to the University of Utah. We are in desperate need of student housing, and support for scholarships that will come from this project as well are critical for the mission of the institution. So on behalf of the University of Utah, I'd just like to say that we're very, very supportive of this incredible initiative. Thank you.
And that was our final comment for this item.
Thank you, Taylor, and to everyone who made a comment. I will look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that the council close the public hearing and defer action to a future council meeting.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Dugan, a second by Councilmember Ferris. Roll calling this. Councilmember Ferris?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros?
Yes.
Councilmember Wharton?
Yes.
Councilmember Mono?
Yes.
And I am a yes. That passes unanimously. Moving on to item E2, a public hearing regarding an ordinance, the technology-related land use text amendments. Before taking any comments on this, I will turn the time to Nick Tarbett, our council staff policy analyst, to give a short introduction. Nick, take her away.
Thank you. This ordinance would amend various sections of the city code pertaining to technology-related land uses. It would add biomedical uses, data centers, and technology uses, and also modify definitions and land use tables for medical-related laboratories and research and development facilities. That's all. Thank you.
I was muted. Taylor, I'll turn it over to you for public comment. I owe the jar $1.
Okay, Council Chair, it looks like we don't have anyone here to speak to this item.
Okay. With that, I'll look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move the council close the public hearing and defer action to a future meeting.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Dugan, a second by Councilmember Ferris. Roll calling. Councilmember Wharton?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros?
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris?
Yes.
Councilmember Mono?
Yes.
And I am a yes. That passes unanimously. Moving to our last public hearing item, E3, regarding a resolution that would authorize the donation of certain city computers to benefit disadvantaged communities and low moderate income families through a digital donation program. Before taking any comments, I'll turn the time over to Jen Bruno for a brief introduction. Jen?
Thanks, Madam Chair. This just satisfies the step outlined in state code whenever the city donates an item. Technically, a hearing is not required in this case because it would be donated to a nonprofit, but the city is taking that extra step of having a public hearing. The council can then adopt a resolution which would authorize this pilot program to go forward.
Thank you, Jen. Taylor, do we have any comments on this item?
Council Chair, we do not have anyone for this item.
Great. I will look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that the City Council close the public hearing and adopt a resolution authorizing the donation of certain city computers to benefit low and moderate income families through a digital donation program.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Dugan and a second by Councilmember Ferris. Roll calling. Councilmember Ferris.
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros,
Yes.
Councilmember Wharton,
Yes.
Councilmember Mono.
Yes.
And I am a yes, that passes unanimously. And if I may just take a quick point of personal privilege, I'm very excited about this pilot program. And I want to thank Mayor Mendenhall and the administrative staff and teams. When, I think oftentimes as the public sees elected officials, we say all these things that we want to do and that we care about. And one of the biggest things that we've talked about all through 2020 was, and even before then, was the digital divide and digital inequities and inaccessibilities. And this is putting our money where our mouth is, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, Madam Mayor. With that, we're going to Section F, potential action items. F1 is an ordinance of a street vacation near 538 East 14th Avenue. I will look for a motion.
Madam Chair, move for approval,
Second.
or excuse me, move for adoption of this ordinance.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Wharton and a second by Councilmember Ferris. Roll calling this, Councilmember Wharton.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris.
Yes, but I will clarify that it was Councilmember Mono that seconded.
Oh, sorry, Councilmember Mono. Thank you for that clarification. Councilmember Dugan.
Yes.
Councilmember Mono.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros.
Yes.
And I am a yes, that passes unanimously. Item F2 is an ordinance, the text amendment eliminating the special exception process from the zoning ordinance. I will look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move the council adopt the ordinance, including the changes included in the updated ordinance and outlined in the November 9th council staff report.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Dugan, second by Councilmember Wharton. Roll calling this, Councilmember Mono.
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris.
Yes.
Councilmember Wharton.
Yes.
And I am a yes, that passes unanimously. We are on to Section G, comments. Are there any questions for Madam Mayor? Madam Mayor, thank you for being here, as always, much appreciated. Questions or comments for our mayor? Get off the hook, Mayor, One of these days, we're going to throw you a hard one.
I think if I didn't come very often, then maybe I'd get asked more questions, but.
Well, we like having you here, even if we don't have any questions for you.
Thanks.
We are now on to the general comment portion of our agenda. For comments about general topics and items that were not scheduled for a hearing tonight, I went over the City Council's rules of decorum earlier, and those rules still apply today, still apply now. I hope that I don't need to repeat them. It wasn't that long ago, and I trust that everyone will be on their best behavior. We are accepting your comments through WebEx, and for those whose only option is to call in, staff is monitoring a separate phone line. I also went over the process a little bit earlier as well. Isaac from our staff will be monitoring and checking the chat if there are any issues, and Taylor Hill will be calling names and unmuting lines. You will be muted after the 2-minute timer has gone off. If you do not wish to speak, please just let us know either by chatting staff or when you are unmuted that you're just here to listen. As always, if you did not finish your comment but want to continue your comment, please feel free to reach out to us via mail, email, telephone calls, text, carrier pigeon. I am going to turn to Taylor with our first general comment.
Council Chair, it looks like we have 2 people here to speak to general comment. The first will be Megan Neff and then George Chapman. Megan, you're now unmuted.
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm just here to listen.
Okay. Then we will move on to George Chapman. George, you're now unmuted.
Okay, ARPA funds should be used to plan opening up for housing, the tens of thousands of acres being underutilized. And I know I sound like a broken record, but it really is important. It should also be used for new de-escalation simulation funding that the chief asked for. It should also be used for several pocket libraries. Residents shouldn't have to drive to libraries. Also should be used for increasing salaries of after-school childcare to increase students at at-risk schools like Benyon, not just on the west side. And consider help at funding an East Side precinct. I agree you need to check the chat stats to see if they really are helping in diversion of police. And heads up, Ogden is giving a $5,000 sign-on bonus for police. And we need more affordable housing. Otherwise, we're not going to get more police. Many cops from other areas don't want Salt Lake City because of the price of housing. They want detached homes. So open up more of Salt Lake City to housing. And it's a sad commentary on our system that the first time a kid or even an adult sees a cop is during a criminal call for service. Real community policing puts police and the public in a very visible situation, like walking patrols in the parks. If cops are only used for arresting or ticketing or not being able to answer calls, most demographics will hate cops. Those are my comments.
Okay, and that was our only commenter for general comment.
Great. Thank you, George. We are on to new business. Item H1 is a resolution appointing a new member of the Salt Lake City Council to fill the term until January 3rd, 2022 of the vacated office representing District 1 and administration of the oath of office. Hello, Victoria and family. Welcome.
Hi.
Do we need to read the resolution? We can. Cindy Lou, is that what you do?
No, you do not need to read the resolution. You just need to make a motion to adopt the resolution with her as the appointed member.
Perfect. I will look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to adopt the resolution with Victoria Petro Eschlar as the nominee or the council's appointee to fill this vacancy.
Second.
I have a motion by Council Member Warden, and I think I heard a second by Council Member Ferris. That was, no? Oh, it's Mono. Why do I keep confusing you two?
Anna can have it. Anna can have it.
A second by Council Member Valdemoros. I will roll call this. Council Member Mono.
Yes.
Council Member Dugan.
Yes.
Council Member Valdemoros.
Yes.
Council Member Ferris.
Yes.
Council Member Warden.
Yes.
EOC. I'm a yes. So that passes unanimously. Welcome to the City Council. I do believe we have to administer the oath of office, or are we not doing that right now? Cindy Lou, I'm turning to you.
We will be administering the oath of office.
Okay.
So Victoria, I'll just let you know that I'll conduct this oath of office electronically, and then I will follow up with the filing of the oath through the electronic signature software of Adobe Sign. Please have your camera and microphone turned on. I'll read the oath of office language and pause when you need to repeat it. So the first part is I, and then state your name, please. And you may raise your hand if you'd like to. So I, and state your name.
I, Victoria Petro Eschlar,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to Salt Lake City Council, Victoria. If you want to, I'd love to turn over a few minutes to you to speak.
Thank you all for having me. Thank you to my neighbors in District 1 for not just voting, but for answering the door every time we showed up, and the text messages and the phone calls, and for placing this trust in me. Thank you to the 3 frenetic children you see here and the adult that isn't here in the room for giving me motivation. Thank you to the adults who are in this room, to Rebecca and to Richard, who adopted me as your own and continue to guide me in all things policy to personal, whether it's if the blazer looks right or if the policy sounds right, you're there. To Alejandro, who helped me float through the end of this last bit. To Nathaniel, who keeps my kids balanced with me and moving forward and encourages and knocked on neighbors' doors and hosted parties. To Tom, who killed it this campaign season in ways that none of us could see. To Jaquita, one of my little students here who represents the best of our West Side youth, who has become family. To Pam, for building community alongside me and lending me your husband every time. To Catherine, for knocking on doors and keeping me remembering what ideals motivated me to start. And then to all my family who's staying up late on the East Coast to see this. To my students from my nonprofit who are excited. To my grandparents who left ports in other countries so that I could be the first one to go to college, so that I could do this. And to what's to come, to my new coworkers, my new friends, my new laborers, in making sure that our intentions and our impacts are what they want to be. I'm so excited to work alongside you. That's all I'm going to say because my kids are getting antsy and I have to move to a quiet space now so I can do this job while they continue the party downstairs. But thank you all so much. I'm so excited.
Well, we're excited to have you and excited for you to get to work. We are moving on to, where are we moving on to? We are moving on to H2 regarding meeting remotely without an anchor location. I will look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we ratify the chair's decision to continue meeting remotely. Was that good?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Mono, a second by Councilmember Dugan. I know that Councilmember Petro Eschler is moving down to somewhere quiet, but I'll still roll call this at this time. Councilmember Wharton?
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros?
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan?
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris?
Yes.
Councilmember Mono?
Yes.
And if Councilmember Petro Eschler is there, she may not be, so we'll have her.
I'm here. Sorry. The hug, there were lots of hugs, sorry.
It's okay, we were voting on meeting in an anchor location.
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so that passes unanimously with all 7 council members. Feels like forever since we've had 7 of us. We are on to item H3, annexation at approximately Rose Park Lane and 2350 North. I will look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that the council accept a petition to annex a parcel of land at 2350 North Rose Park Lane for further consideration.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Mono, a second by Councilmember Ferris. I will roll call this. Councilmember Dugan,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros,
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris,
Yes.
Councilmember Wharton,
Yes.
Councilmember Mono. Did I call on you yet?
I don't remember yes if you did not.
Okay. Councilmember Petro Eschler.
Yes.
I am a yes, and that passes unanimously. We have no unfinished business, and we are at the last section of our agenda, which is the consent portion of the agenda. I will look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We wanted, item 1 is the budget amendment number 4.
That's just setting the date for it though, right?
Yes, it's
Do we
setting
need to
another
change the
public
date?
hearing date for the 16th of November. Okay. So I think now I forgot. I have a motion by Councilmember Mono and a second by Councilmember Wharton, correct? I will roll call this. Councilmember Wharton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdemoros,
Yes.
Councilmember Mono,
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris,
Yes.
Councilmember Dugan,
Yes.
Councilmember Petro Eschler.
Yes.
I am a yes, and that passes unanimously. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Congratulations, Victoria. Welcome to the team. Look forward to seeing you all next week.
Adios.